Cavalli, darling.
Okay, we are live again. Blah blah blah. Just another technical
Dum dum
hit.
dum 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 dum.
So
Here we
here
go.
we go.
Now I've got us.
Yep. So
There you go, darling. So
I'm.
we're on Medium Mike Cavalli now.
Yep. We should be
Yeah,
on
and I'll
me,
just say my hello everyone that I posted on your other one.
and I'm gonna share again to you, and then we can get this show up and running. So
Yay!
there we are.
Hello.
So there we are.
Hello.
We're there. So Linda,
Yeah.
I tell you, it's been a bit of a week this week, as always. These weeks are getting more bizarre as they go along.
You think?
But you know what? I saw this wonderful documentary
Oh dear.
on
Yep.
the Iconic platform, and it was with a medium called shamefully I can't remember her name, but it's called God's Messenger. And I'm going to
Oh.
put some of her work on next week. She also does spiritual readings. She's, spiritual drawings. So she knows her
Yeah.
stuff, this lady. And really,
Wow.
so
Please, yeah, put
I'm
her
gonna
on.
I'm gonna be putting that on next week. And it's actually a great website, Iconic
Yeah.
actually. So I encourage everyone to pop over there, have a little look if there's anything they like. They've
Yes.
got so much stuff over there that you can spend quite a lot of time getting absorbed in it all. So
Yeah.
anyway, what's this? Million mandates
Oh,
have been
good.
lifted for the education department. Da 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 da. So I think it's really important, Linda, since Melinda made that comment, to put this picture up, which you might be able to see right now on your camera.
Well, just remember, darling, I've got a 10-second delay.
Okay, well, it's coming up now. Women of
Oh, there you
Australia.
go, Joan up. Yep, I see it now. I thought that was hysterical when I saw that, when you sent it to me, darling, that, because your woman is Joan, and,
Yeah,
it's amazing the messages that we're all getting now,
yeah,
Those of us who are staying true to who we are and
yeah,
what we believe in,
yeah,
greatness is coming.
yeah.
I was actually talking to a great friend of mine 2 days ago, so it would have been Monday. And he said to me, he's noticing how bad things are happening to certain people. And
Yeah,
I said, well, darling, I don't look at the bad that happens to people. I only like looking at the good.
yeah,
And he said, there are so many people who either aren't doing this for the right reason, they're believing what's on the news, or whatever else they're doing, but really bad stuff is happening to them.
mm,
He said, I know this one guy, he's fully jabbed, this happened to him. I know this woman, she's her true colors have come out. Now she's just crashed her car and she owes all this money because it wasn't insured.
mm,
So, double whammy because it wasn't insured. So she's got all this expense. And he said, this other person, not on the right path, the spiritual
mm,
good path, and all this stuff's just happened to them.
mm,
And I said, well, darling, as long we can't compare, don't ever
mm,
judge, accuse what
mm,
happens to others.
mm,
But because karma works in amazing ways
mm,
and it's always out of our control.
mm. Yeah,
So, and it is good, though, that he pointed out, that he's really noticing, like you're going forward, I'm going forward, other people I know that are going forward. And then you've got all these people that are got negative traits or whatever they're doing, but all this bad stuff is now happening to them,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they're all turning victim.
yeah.
That's what I've noticed. They're all
Well,
turning victim. Why me? Well, I could tell you, but it'll take an hour.
one of the messages I channeled a while back, I think it was the Pleiades, it wasn't Joan. They actually said that we're now living in that frequency where only truth can be spoken. So it's either going to be said voluntarily or it's just going to come out and your real intention is going to be revealed. And
Absolutely.
that applies to the whole thing across the board. And somebody actually put a post up on your page. It might have been you, I'm not sure, but it was to do with karma. And it's quite true. If you keep yourself in that high frequency, basically heading up in the fifth dimension, you will avoid all
Yep.
karma, because you're not in that frame of mind, that perception where karma exists. So
Well,
keeping your
this is
frequency
this
high.
is yep. This is what I say. Karma affects bad people that are doing bad things. Brownie points is what comes to those who are doing the good things.
Yeah.
Because, people like comparing, they want to know the difference. So, there is good karma, bad karma. But when we get those brownie points, those rewards for, and it's always unexpected. Don't ever do anything, guys, just for the rewards. You don't do it for the rewards, because then when the rewards come so unexpected, you think, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's the brownie points.
Yeah.
Or the karma coming back to us, you know?
I mean,
and it is amazing.
We could also look upon karma as just is. It is what it is, good or bad, depending on what's required for your spiritual growth. And I mean, I like to take the side of, look, karma's not there to punish you. It's there as a balance, as a stop check, as a lesson to let you know, look, if you continue along this path, because as you know, what you put out, you get back. What you believe, you attract. So karma isn't good or bad. It just is. And
that's exactly
that's
right.
my perception of it.
Well, do you mind if I talk about my stalker?
You got a stalker?
You know I've got a stalker.
I must say, it's not me, okay? It's not me.
I know it's not you, darling, okay? I don't think you'd ever stoop to what this person's done. But I do have a stalker, guys. And this person was doing some pretty creepy stuff to me, trying to hurt me. And they had their own YouTube channel. And funny thing, one of my friends could actually get in there the other week and see what he's doing now. Well, it is a he. There you go. He used to get a couple of hundred views per video. 3 weeks ago, a video's only got 3 views. A video from 2 weeks ago has only got 4 views. No one's watching his channel anymore for what he was doing about me. So, we create our own reality.
Yeah.
And this person being nasty to me and then promoting it, I am so transparent with people, Mike, that, I don't just talk about the good that I go through. I also mention, because I'm a human, we all get bad things happening to us as well, which makes us grow, But this person was nasty to me, and all his viewers, thousands of them, have all switched off.
Yeah.
And now he's blaming me for destroying what he had on YouTube. And he was the one doing films about me. So if you're watching, Resident Stalker, thank you so much, because here's another view hour for us. Thank you for watching my videos, because you're giving me the view hours there.
Naughty, Linda.
Well,
Naughty.
mate, but it's true. But it is true, Mike.
Yeah.
People who do deliberately vindictive hurts to others will have that karma coming back on them.
Unfortunately.
And, that's unfortunately, because they don't see, they're the ones that created it. And, I'm always been called an instigator, and I don't like being the one, because I tell people their real truths, because I've had to do it a few times this week. And you can tell the ones who are really trying to learn and grow, because they're the ones that come back and want more.
Yeah.
When you are able to give someone negative feedback in a positive way, to give them that opportunity for growth, development, and they come back for more. I will open my door, put out the red carpet, put on my tiara and welcome it.
Have you got a tiara with you by any chance, Linda? I love a tiara.
My hair's stuck in it now.
But
and I put this on. Hang on, I put this on when I want to feel good about myself. It's okay to say I love myself. It's okay to say, I am worthy, I am valued, I am precious, and I'm treasured.
Yeah.
So I put on my tiara and I walk around the house when no one else is here.
Yeah.
And I tell myself how great I am.
Yeah.
Because that's how, one of the ways we raise our vibration up.
Yeah.
So, of course, I've got my tiara out, you know? Yeah. In these times where I'm getting criticized, attacked, stalked, you know, I won't go there with anyone in particular, but very close people to me are attacking me because of certain beliefs that I have, and they can't understand it in their own belief system. So I allow them to be who they are, and that's where I've grown.
Yeah.
They are still comparing. They are the ones accusing me. They're the ones with this oh, God, I don't want to say the two words of segregation and discrimination, but they're the ones isolating me, okay? They're the ones that are forcing me out of the pack.
Yeah.
And to me, that just shows their true colours,
Yeah.
because they're the ones who, if they truly cared and if they truly loved unconditionally, you accept anyone for any reason.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think that's a big lesson for the whole world this week.
As we know,
you know?
Love doesn't care about consequence. It just does what's right and doesn't care about consequence. But I'd just like to, before we get on with the show and go over to New York and hear what Caterina has to say.
Gorgeous Caterina.
You know, we through all this channeling, it's been about a week or 2 weeks now, there's been a lot of noise in the universe. It hasn't affected my mediumship, but it's affected my bloody remote viewing. You know, there's so much white noise. But that's calmed down now. And the reason it's calmed down now is because people have started to step out of the fear of this shenanigans in Central Europe. Now,
there's so many waking up, Mike. There are. Yeah. They're waking up.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about all of this is that right now we spoke about truth only being able to be spoken, and this is absolutely clear. But here's the thing. We did the table tipping yesterday, and I asked a question. And so many people that are in that spiritual thinking, it doesn't mean if they're on the fifth, but certainly people who are operating on the fifth dimension, but other spiritual people who are not quite there, are being attacked from all corners, from various kinds of energy. And it's appropriate and important to keep strong. And that is why I put up that thing there that's up again now, Women of Australia, it's time to joan up. What it actually means is, you know, get your strength. When you've got the strength, these attacks will just bounce off you. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
you know, I get some pretty horrendous comments thrown at me by very close people. I'm not going to say who they are, okay?
Yeah.
So, but they're very close to me. And the thing is, this is what I say. When we let it affect us, it's only because we allow it to attach to us. The only reason, this is a quote, the only reason why Scheiße hits the fan, if you know German, what Scheiße is,
a little bit.
The only reason why Scheiße hits the fan is because the fan allows it to stick.
Yeah.
Because I speak a bit of German myself, okay? So, you know, if you know that what I'm talking about there, guys, because I don't want to swear in English just in case Facebook's got their little algorithms going. But, so if we allow it to just flick off or go straight through us so it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the big message, I think, for this week from me, because I've had a lot of words flung at me in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't stick because I'm up here with my energy, and these people, unfortunately, are down here with all their accusations, judgments, and insinuations and issues, and they're trying to pull me down to their level, which will never work.
No.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, we
better head up over to New York and hear what Caterina has to say
Yay.
what's on the agenda for news this week. So let's run this and we can have a little chat about it after. Here we go.
Hello, my curious friends. My name is Caterina Campagna, and I'm here today, as always, to bring you the Open Door News segment. You know, the news that makes you go, ah! Brr. Or simply, what the? I can't believe, why is no one else talking about this? Well, someone is talking about it with a bullhorn through the streets, no less. Otawan is his last name, Jabanga is his first name, and he is a resident of Nigeria, Africa. Now, in this town, it is practiced to procure money from banks, a certain ritual. This ritual includes maiming and killing people, throwing body parts in a pot, and expecting incantations and certain charms in there will bring you money that is gotten from spirits existing in banks. Now, Otawan is asking people if he has any evidence of this working because he is trying to get the answer of a course that is ludicrous, because many people do fall victim to this. Now, given the poverty in the region and that this is kind of a cultural belief and accepted practice, most people do believe that it works, and there are many victims. So Otawan is trying to get people to stop. Now, it is an uphill battle for this man, it seems, because in his same town, there is a university where a lecturer and a PhD also claim that this practice does work, this ritual that kills and maims people. It's kind of scary. And in this same town, they also believe that people can shapeshift into cats. So I don't know, do you want to visit and see what you can find yourselves? Now, it's also interesting that the name of this town translates into the word worship. Now, if you're looking for something to read while waiting for the next episode of this show, consider Nick Redfern's book, The Mysterious Death of Marilyn Monroe and UFO Conspiracies. Now, here's where the book gets interesting. It brings up the point that J. Edgar Hoover had tons of files on Marilyn Monroe and who knows what other secret documents that will most likely never come to light, because Helen Gandy and Mark Felt, the people known as Deep Throat and All the President's Men, when J. Edgar Hoover died in 1972, they rushed to get all his files and keep them to themselves, along with a man named James Jesus Allington, the director of the CIA. They absconded with all these files, and it is surprising because the FBI has released the files they have on Miss Marilyn Monroe, and surprisingly, they're only 85 pages long. Now, scratch your head and come to think. Now, here is a woman who was iconic, had an affair with the Kennedy brothers, and was also interested in communism. How come there's so little on her? Well, who knows what the rest of the documents were hiding. That's all for now, my friends. My name has been Caterina Campagna, and I'm wishing you a great day, a great week. Enjoy life, and remember, as always, stay curious.
There we are, shape-shifting cats. Not bad. And listen, let's be fair, what kind of security is that? That's a little fatty.
She's not fat. She's not fat. Want to meow?
Poor
Come
little
on,
thing.
I had to do it, Mike, because I knew the shape-shifting cats was in there. So here's my cat, meow meow, and there she goes. Oh my God, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. I mean, we got a couple of cat sequences coming up, and
That's right.
selected one of them, so that's really cool.
Oh my gosh, it's
But-
all good, darling.
Yeah.
I just want to say, when we raise up our vibrations, there's a lot of ways of doing it. And one of my raising your vibrations is picking up my cat and just listening to her angst and her disgust that I'm picking her up, because it makes me laugh and it makes me raise my vibration up. And plus now I'm covered in cat hair as well, so I've just got my baby wipes wiping my
tell you,
arms.
all joking aside, cats are very spiritual.
Of course
Spiritual.
they are.
I mean, they were
Yes.
revered by the Egyptians, and of course they haven't forgot that. No, I mean, I know also scientifically in my days when I used to do natural health research, the purr of a cat can help heal a broken bone much quicker than somebody who hasn't had the purr. And
look
also,
at the people
by the way, they change the frequency to the ailment. They have this
and look
capability.
at what they do with cancers, even head colds, if you sit there and listen to a cat meowing. So there was a lot of reasons why I just wanted to show my cat then. That's Mary, by the way. That's my cat Mary, Queen Mary.
Queen Mary.
If anyone needs the tiara, it's Mary. Yeah, Queen Mary is her name. My feral cat that was here when I moved in. So there you go. Oh mate, that Ottawan guy in Africa. They have some really weird cultures and heebie-jeebie type magic and potions and hocus pocus and witchcraft. What was the word?
Somebody pointed out to me, actually, and it's a fair point. I take on board everything you say, and I agree with you. But they also said, wow, going to a place of worship and worshipping a man, looking at him nailed to the cross every Sunday, is not the most pleasant of things to do, is it? So I guess also to those people in those villages, our practice must seem really bizarre. There you are worshipping a man nailed to a cross. But yeah, I mean, as long as you don't shout Beetlejuice out 3 times, you're going to be perfectly safe.
Hey, it's all good, darling. It's all good. Back onto Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I watched this documentary a few years ago, and it was they interviewed the ambulance officer who turned up when she was found. Her maid or housekeeper found her. He was the first paramedic to arrive on the scene. He said she was lucid, she was awake. She was actually responding.
Yeah.
And then this other guy turned up, injected her with this thing, and she was dead within a minute.
Yeah.
So that's what he said was his version. There's the people out there who believe that she's still alive. There's people out there who said that she committed suicide. So who do we know to trust here? But, there's some very interesting facts, because she did actually say, there is footage out there of Marilyn Monroe. She's up on she wasn't just the secret girlfriend of the Kennedys. They made it very apparent that she was in that mix with a few of them. Yeah. Okay. And she was on this podium one day with them, and she virtually said something about disclosure of aliens.
Really?
And so there was all this talk that the Kennedys knew about what happened at Roswell, etc., and that they told her, like bed talk. Oh yeah, by the way, trying to impress her. We've got this DUMB, deep underground military base, where we've got these UFOs, etc. And the talk was that she was going to start disclosing all this stuff to the public. She had a mouth. Let's just go there. She didn't know how to keep secrets.
Especially
Poor
with
girl.
a bit of sauce down her.
Yeah. So I thoroughly believe that they had to do something with her. I
think that's clear. That's very clear.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so, I feel sorry for the girl because, as soon as we hear things like CIA, Hoover, and the FBI,
Yeah.
hello, hello.
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually call them those. I always say three-letter agencies,
Yeah.
Canaries and Averys,
Mm.
Yeah.
And
What's the other
Facebook
one?
Inc.
Yeah, Facebook Inc. or Feral Bears Incubated or something, so you come up with all these anagrams of words that you can use, but yeah, poor Marilyn, because I honestly don't think that she wanted to die,
No.
because we've shown footage of her outside her house, etc.
Yeah.
She did not want to die.
No.
She had a story. She still had a career,
Yeah.
so I firmly believe that her ghost is still out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For those who don't know that are watching, a few weeks ago we actually showed some footage of Marilyn Monroe's house, and it looks like Marilyn Monroe to me,
Yeah.
standing at the front gate.
Yeah.
And
sitting by the pool in her favourite spot,
that's right.
nonetheless.
Yes,
So,
that's right. So I reckon that she is still hanging around, unfinished business type stuff.
Yeah.
So poor girl, she could have had a lovely, lovely career ahead of her, if she just learnt that political secrets were exactly that. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, let's go and look at our ghost cats. The shape-shifting into nothing. Okay, we've got two lined up here. The second one is the one that you discovered for us. So let's run this, and I shall sort my cat out while this one is running. Here we go. Well, I'll tell you what I think. My concern about the first one is that where the cat disappears and all of that area seems to be very blurred, almost like it's been blurred deliberately, because everything else is pretty clear. So I'm not an experienced researcher in this, but my first observation would say that that one's not particularly the real deal. But what do you think?
Well, let's just talk about the first one first, okay?
Right.
When I first started watching it, my eyes were going everywhere on the screen. Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Where's the cat?
Right.
Then I saw him come down from the top right corner, and it actually stopped and smelt that box thing that was there. And it was like, how cats, because you're a cat person, cats, they put their scent on through their nose, so they like wipe their nose on stuff, which leaves that scent, which is a very, very natural behavior of cats. And I thought, oh, yeah, how cute is that? Then it walked down, and I was thinking, what's through that gate? Because as again, what you just said, it's all blurry.
Yeah.
What's through the gate? And then the cat disappeared, right? But it paused, and it looked around, and then it went through the gate. So what startled it? Because it's like it was just doing its normal, like sniffing, smelling, and then it sort of looks around, and then it goes through that gate. So whether it's been blurred out deliberately for someone to try and make it a paranormal video. Hello, I've seen a lot better fake videos. So why would you put together something like that unless it was real? So, yeah, it's a little bit iffy, you know, a little bit iffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you agree with that one? It's just iffy.
Yeah, I think it's a bit iffy myself. So we'll leave that one on the phone. What do you guys think? Do you think this is the real deal? Do you think it's you know, a little bit of someone up to no good with plenty of time on their hands? or what? We'll run it again before we move. What about the second one, Linda? Your one that you put up.
Well, the second one's a lot clearer.
I'll run the second one.
And
I'll put the second one on again. So, real deal?
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you can tell that it is a doorbell camera.
Yeah.
It's like a doorway security because of the path, because of the poles. So, because the first thing when I saw that, I thought, wow, how ironic is that they got the cat right in the middle of the screen.
Right.
It wasn't in the top corner. It wasn't in the bottom. It was not half out of shot. It was right there, center stage. But then I thought, but that's where you really would put a camera, showing it to the doorway like that, okay? So that cat was obviously in the opportune spot at the right time. I tend to think that one's real.
Okay.
I actually do tend to think that one's real. Yeah.
Catherine disagrees with you. She says it doesn't look real. Maybe a glitch in the Matrix. Another valid point.
Well, and that's true because, hello, you know, we've shown footages where there's glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know, the classic one that everyone talks about is that plane that's just sitting there in the sky.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy's filming it and it does not move.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I mean,
so there are glitches.
There is something with that one, and I've seen it, and they explain that if you are moving at a certain speed, and like in this direction, and your camera is moving at a certain speed in that direction, it can give the impression that that is just standing still. But perhaps that's for another time. But we talk about
that's right,
a glitch in the Matrix. Well, Catherine, we got a time slip one coming up just after this little poltergeist activity. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, let me just explain with this one. Prior to this lady who you see, her husband or cousin or somebody owns a toy shop, a gift shop, and there was a lot of mysterious activity going on it. I looked at it and I figured this was the better one to put on. Maybe if I got more time, I'll put the toy shop incident on as well. So she is familiar with the shop and she's familiar with all the surroundings. So let's have a look.
Let's go see what happens to her.
See what happens to this lady.
TikToker Paulina Lara 62, who was actually Mario Lara's niece from the previous segment. The footage shows Paulina alone in the back room of the shop where the investigation of the previous segment took place. Take a look at what happened. As you can see, Paulina appears to be dragged across the room by some unseen force. One of her legs is sticking up in the air as she slides. To make matters even stranger, take a look at the wall near the doorway where the worker is dragged. This is the Moana Pinata that Mario believes is haunted. The doll's arms and legs are stretched out as if hung from a cross. The doll never moves from its spot on the wall, but that hasn't stopped viewers from speculating that the creepy doll might be to blame for the strange events in the footage. Paulina later posted a photo on her Facebook page that shows just how scary this incident was for her. Hours after her shift ended, her ankle is ringed with a dark black bruise. This is an ongoing saga that we'll definitely keep an eye on, and we'll be sure to post updates as they come to hand. In the meantime, check out Mario Lara's channel for all his previous evidence caught on camera. As always, there's links in the description box below.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty real. My concern is how convenient that handy or cell phone is there, because it doesn't appear to be a security camera. And if that's the case, why are you still filming this woman being dragged across the floor, not running and trying to assist her? But if it is a hoax, it's a bloody good one.
I was looking for the strings, because for this one, there'd have to be strings to pull her.
Right.
Something to pull her across the room. And we're not talking just fishing line here. It'd have to be, you'd see it.
Yeah.
And because of the way how fast she moved, there would have to be some sort of like pulley system where they're yanking it to make it go. Yeah, it's not just someone doing this type thing. So they did a good hoax. If it's a hoax, they did a good hoax.
Yeah.
The photo on Instagram that she posted, one thing I don't like about that is that you can't see whose leg it is.
Yeah.
And secondly, she had boots on.
Mm.
So, you can clearly see that she had boots on when she was being dragged across the floor.
Yeah.
That come up over the ankle. So there's a couple of things there that just irk me a little bit. And then you've got to look too at the shape of the bruise.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a hand.
Right.
I've been, Dallin, I'll be honest, I've been dragged.
It's got a pattern to it, actually.
Yeah, I've been dragged, and you can actually see when I take my hand off, you'll see it on my arm. I'm just holding my arm. But see how you can see the lines?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do it again, and I'll just press into my arm again. See, you can see where the fingers are, right? So her bruise was a big round thing, which isn't consistent with being dragged, being grabbed and dragged. Because when someone grabs you, you've got fingerprints,
Yeah.
I've got a photo on my phone of a man that was at my house about 2 years ago. He got bitten by one of my ghosts. You can see teeth marks. It's only about 3 inches up from his ankle, and you can see teeth marks in it.
Yeah.
So, with that, I looked at that. I extended it out, so I zoomed in on it. You can't see any teeth. You can't see any fingers like what I just did then when you can see the marks. It's just a round bruise, like she was hit with a ball or something. So I don't like that inconsistency. I don't like the fact that you can't see who's the owner of the leg in the photo.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't like how you can see her here. You can see the door she's going through, and it's perfectly set up center stage again.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's not a video camera. It's too good quality to be, if that's only a toy store, they wouldn't invest in the high quality cameras of, they'd just have like the doorknob, the doorbell cameras, you know.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of inconsistencies that I don't like.
Yeah.
But what I do like is how fast she moved. I will go there. I
Yeah.
liked how fast she moved because that would be very hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I like the fact that you can't see any strings.
Yeah.
Unless it's been CGI'd out, you know, because if they've got high-quality cameras, they've probably got high-quality editing suites where they can Photoshop out the strings or whatever. But still, very, very good footage. You know, it makes you think, you know, does this sort of thing happen? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, yes. I've been grabbed. I've had a car engine thrown at me from about 35 foot away, you know, so they can get a lot of energy when they
I don't do ghost hunts anymore, because I'm the one who gets the hair pulled, and I don't like my hair.
What do you think? I'll just go there, Mike, with what you said there. I was at a ghost tour at a jail, and they made us line up on either side of, you know, the corridor where the cell rooms are off, right? And we were there, and I had my back to one of the cells because I'm in the corridor looking at the people on the other side to the other cells, and I had the door open behind me, and this woman's looking at me like, and I'm looking at her, and she goes, and I looked sort of around, and my hair's doing this.
Yeah.
You know, all my hair was up. They were playing with my hair.
Yeah.
And she said, look at your hair. And they were pulling my hair up like this. Yeah, they love my hair, you know. Hello. Who doesn't?
Well, before we move on, I just want to make these comments that Catherine said. There's quite a few videos about this doll and what it gets up to. And I know this video comes from the Americas somewhere. I think it's Mexico. And I know they have a lot of superstition, and they do a lot of this, the equivalent to our Ouija board, this Charlie game, I think it's called. So it could be, certainly. But then she also makes the point that there are websites or pages showing how this is debunked. And actually, it gives me the idea that there is a YouTube video in a coffee shop, and how they set all this up with this girl who has an argument with her boyfriend. He spills the coffee, and she puts her hand out like this in anger, and you see him go sliding back and up against the wall. And it's all... Yeah,
he actually goes up the wall, yes.
And she does this, and all the books go flying off, all to unsuspected people coming in for a coffee. But it's a complete setup.
Yes, it's a total setup.
So maybe I'll put that up next week so people can just see how sophisticated it can be.
That's right. It is highly sophisticated, Mike. You know, and that's what I love about our show. We don't just show what could be paranormal. We also show how forgeries and magic is created. You know, so you know, we don't just say, oh yes, this is paranormal. We do debunk it. You know, so that people get an idea of anything going on. You know, what they see, especially on media, whether it's true or not. Yeah, and obviously, you know, when things go flying around my room in my house, I know it's real because I don't set up strings. You know.
Well, the only thing I allow to go flying around is the seance trumpet. And that's not in my house, that's in where I work. But anyway, before we move on, just want to make Sack's point. She said, I thought if you get pulled along the ground, your hands should be out stopping you to slow down. Yeah, and that's another valid point. Yeah,
true.
So my thing is, you know, I wish I had the time they have to do this stuff, because I mean clearly you've got a lot of time on your hands if you're doing this purely for shenanigans. Okay, if it's part of a project, say it's part of a project or do something. But clearly a lot of people got a lot of time on their hands if this is a fake. So anyway, so look, a glip in the matrix, I should say. Time slip France. Spent a lot of time in France. I understand, and I fully can see the circumstance in which this guest house hotel is established. So let's just go over and have a look at this. And well, I think we could be commenting forever on all of this. So here we go.
Two English couples, Cynthia and Len Gisby, and Pauline and Jeff Simpson, embarked on a holiday in Spain in the summer of 1979, a holiday which would include a road trip through France. After travelling for almost 10 hours, they decided to call it a night and search for a hotel in rural France to rest so that they could continue their journey the following day. They found a bed and breakfast set deep in the French countryside, an old building surrounded by trees and rich green foliage. They were met by a friendly landlord who welcomed them in and showed them to their rooms. The rooms were adorned with old wooden beams and arcane furniture, along with glassless windows. They ate supper and retired to their rooms for the night. The next morning, the couples took a few photos to remember their stay before sitting down to breakfast. Shortly after entering the dining room, two French police officers entered the room, soon to be accompanied by a young woman said to be wearing an old-fashioned dress. The couples recalled the uniforms that the police officers wore were also very old-fashioned and like nothing they had seen before. Assuming they were regular customers, the couples thought no more of it. They soon left after paying the landlord, with the entire cost of their stay coming to a total of 19 francs, which would have been the equivalent of just under £2 at the time, a small amount which surprised the holidaymakers. When they returned home to England, they found that the photographs they had taken were non-existent, as if they were never taken. The couples, in an attempt to make sense of their strange experience, investigated the case further and found that the police uniforms worn by the men at the bed and breakfast dated back to the 1900s. Could it be that the Gisbys and the Simpsons experienced a time slip and travelled back in time? A few years later, the party returned to the spot where the old building stood and found nothing but an old crumbling building, with locals having no memory of it ever being a hotel. What they did discover, though, was that the old building next door to it used to be an old police station. Now, as if the case didn't raise enough questions, there are a couple of points that stand out. If they did in fact travel back in time, why did nobody comment on their modern car? And probably most confusing of all, how did they pay with modern money? When questioned, Jeff Simpson said that he was confused at the acceptance of the modern currency.
It's quite an exciting proposition to know that have happened. And, you know, I've got no science to say this is right or it's wrong. All I have is intuition, and that is I can fully believe and accept that there was a time slip of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember,
I
Linda,
do too.
you know, we had the story of the Civil War where the guy was in bed and the soldiers said, "Get up, sir," you know, and told him to come to the battlefield. They was clear as the day is long. And, you know, I just want to say, we often think of spirit as without bodies. But Joan actually told me, yes, I do have a body. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
So
my lady's got a body. I've seen her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised these people have come through as solid beings or appear to be solid beings, and there's this time slip. So what do you reckon
That's
of this,
right.
Linda?
Okay. I love the way that this guy has asked very, very relevant questions. But he forgot to ask the most relevant question, which was, how the heck did this happen? Okay. I thoroughly do believe that time slips occur. You know, we had a show on, oh gosh, I think it was about a year ago, Mike. A man, I think he was in Boston. He comes out of a shop and the whole road is cobbled with horse-drawn carriages, and he's walking around thinking, what the hell? Yeah. And he's seeing all the shops and what everyone's wearing. It's like 1820s. Yeah. He goes back into the shop and he's back in now. And he comes back out and there's and there was a roundabout or something there where he was talking about he was following the horse-drawn carriages. Yeah. So I do believe these slips or glitches in the matrix or whatever you want to call them, or do we just go straight out and call them quantum distortions or quantum, what would you call it? Because it plays into the strings, okay, which is quantum strings, quantum physics. They talk about the string theory, right? This is, you know, if you watch Big Bang Theory, you know what Sheldon's trying to solve.
String theory.
But, string theory, where there's these glitches in the dimensions of time and space coming back and overlapping each other, right?
Yeah.
So, one, I can explain the car. Simply being the people inside that building did not see the car.
Right.
Because they were inside the building.
Mm.
So the building is like the catalyst of this experience. Okay? Please just follow me for a minute here. When we talk about conscious awareness and conscious connection, where ghosts and spirits can come back to see a living relative through a dimensional veil or coming through that portal, time loop, whatever you want to call it, there is that connection. And I firmly believe that that house was that connection. It was that catalyst to make this event occur.
Yeah.
That's why the police walked in. That's why they walked in. That's why there was already the people there saying, hey, have them stay the night, blah, blah, blah. And that's why they didn't see the car, because the car was external to this distortion of time in linear time, where we've had this overlay of like a convergence or an inversion where the two have occurred at the same, like the Philadelphia experiment type stuff, right?
Yeah.
So where things overlay, and that's why we had, the Philadelphia experiment,
Convergence.
all those that convergence where the sailors were melded into the boat, the ship that they were on, right? So I think that solves the car issue. But how do we solve the money issue? If they paid with currency from 1989 and they've gone back to 1820, how does that work? Seriously, how does it work? Because they've obviously gone back a long time, 100 odd years. So unless the people didn't even look at the currency, but I think here we go again with what we call that distortion of consciousness. Because let's just go to something that you said before we started this video. You said, remember the people, the guy with the Gettysburg
the
soldiers.
Civil War, yeah.
Why didn't those Civil War soldiers recognize that this guy was wearing a watch, had his phone, there was things in his room that showed technology,
Mr. Weirdo,
clock alarm next to his bed. So what they do is they go into this like fog. It's like they don't recognize it. Let me go there. Here's a movie, okay? The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, right? They threw a lot of truth bombs in this movie.
I see dead people.
I see dead people, right? Story of my life, by the way, growing up. But anyway, getting off that. He goes to work every day where he goes into his study and is doing work. When he does find out that he's dead at the end, he goes to his study door and the door is locked.
Yeah.
There's a cupboard in front of it. Yeah. Why didn't he ever see that cupboard? Why was he able to open the doors and still go to work?
Yeah.
Because it's like a fog where they don't recognize it because it's not part of their conscious perspective of what they remember. Okay? And I think that when we say it like that scientifically, that that's why these people from that time, 100 odd years ago, they didn't recognize that the currency was not from their era.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I believe this, because I've been studying science, trying to debunk how ghosts exist for about 3 years. That's why this book is taking so long, because every time I research a new scientific theory, I've got to go, wow, but then that disproves that. But, it adds value to that. So, so...
Well, I mean, we could see this as exactly this, that their perceptions of fog. So though he has new money, when they receive it, it looks like the old money.
That's right.
So it kind
Just
of like you when you're in that astral state. Like after I do a session of table tipping, which was about 6 hours of it yesterday, I was like
yeah.
I was on the old wacky backy for the rest of the evening, or the Bolivian marching powder. You're on such a high. But so when you're in that astral state, everything looks familiar, but it's just not how it is when you're in the physical state. There's something
That's
different.
right.
So they
Yes.
could really have, it could have been that. Or the other thing is that for whatever reasons the gods decide that those people knew exactly that these holiday makers had slipped back in time and their job was just to do what they had to do. They could have been there to do this for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I say we could discuss this for the whole show.
Yeah.
But the question is it real? Is it fake? I believe this absolutely. They had this experience.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd like to see their cameras roll.
Yeah.
Because if they took photos, like digital photos, like we do on our cameras, on our phones, where you've got your camera stream, you can go through and click right to see all your photos. It'd be interesting to see if the photos were simply not there or if they were blacked out.
Yeah.
Because if they were there but blacked out, that would show so much more value. Because a lot of ghost photos, they come through as black. You know, you'll have your photo with Mary standing in front of the camera, and then you've got Mary photo, and then the whole thing is black, like it's pitch black at night. And you think, what happened in that photo?
Yeah.
There's something paranormal in that photo. Okay.
Well, this was definitely before handies and cell phones and stuff.
Yeah. So they would have had the old film photography. So that would have been really nice to have seen the negatives.
Yeah, because
I would have loved to see the negatives for that.
It did say when they got back there was no picture. It was a blank photograph.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's blank.
Yeah.
So that does prove there was a photo taken, but for some phenomenon, the development of that photo was not permitted. I'll say permitted.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It didn't come through. So that adds value that this is a real story then. Yes.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we're doing good for time this week. So let's move on to our NDE story. Lani Leary.
Yes.
Let's just run it, eh? And let's
just go there.
Run it and let's not influence people with this. Let them make their own decisions up at this. So here we go. Let's run this.
Lani was 29 when she went for a visit to the dentist's office. At that point in time, they used laughing gas to help their patients ease into their procedures. As Lani had never taken drugs or alcohol, and rarely even took aspirin, her body had a very severe reaction to this new chemical in her system. To listen to the full, unedited interview, click the link in the description. This is Lani's experience.
So one minute I was in the dentist chair, the next minute I was up on the ceiling looking down at this body. And as I looked at my 29-year-old body, I felt as though it was just a piece of clothing. I had a fondness for it. I knew it. I had used it well, but it was time to go to the Salvation Army. I wasn't connected to it. I felt no fear, no pain, no anxiety. The dentist was kind of freaking out, and I was trying to talk to him from up there and say it was okay, but of course he didn't get it. And I had also within this I had no sense of time. There was no anxiety. There was no sense of passing time. So I don't know how long I was up there in the corner. But the next thing I knew, it was as though I had turned around and I was going into a tunnel, and my mother, who had been dead for 15 years, was right at the tunnel. I can still see it. And she was beautiful and whole and vibrant and healthy, and she did not die that way. She was healed. And her arms were outstretched to me, and we communicated telepathically, so our mouths didn't move, but I thought, and she received, and she thought, and I heard. And I thought I miss you. And what came back to me was, I know, as though her arms were around me. And I was not able to tell her I loved her before she died. And I said, I love you. And she said, I know. And my ego was not present, because my ego here would have said, I wanted to stay with my mother for years and years and years and tell her every single first date I had and my wedding and all about my child. The ego was not present, because I knew from a soul level at that moment that she had always been with me. We had never been apart. I knew that. I still know that. And so with that, I was drawn into a tunnel that, to me, the words I can describe it are almost an opalescent blue, beautiful, beautiful. And at the end of the tunnel was a pinpoint of light, and I couldn't do anything but go toward it. And so I went toward this light, and as I got to this light, it became bigger and brighter, almost like looking into the sun, but it wasn't painful to look into this light. And the light was in front of me, and then the light was around me, and then I was in the light, and then I knew I was the light. That there, as a drop of water in the ocean is not separate, the light and I were made of the same substance. And I was home. It was, bliss doesn't come close to the word, but I knew in that moment that I was forgiven for anything I thought was unforgivable. I was loved beyond all measure, in a way that I'd never been loved before, and I wanted to stay there. And again, in the same telepathic way as with my mother, I heard a voice that said to me, and you can call this light whatever you want, because words really get in the way of what it was, but this light said to me, you must go back. And with all the chutzpah I had, I responded and said, no. And the light said, you have work to do. You must go back. And again, I yelled with everything I had, no. And then I felt and I heard like a churning, like I was in a blender, coming back down through the tunnel. And the next thing I knew, I was in the dentist chair. And the dentist thought that he had resuscitated me, so he can have the credit. And my life changed as a result of that. Now, when I came back, I was disoriented in a way of, now what? Because I wanted to stay there. And my sense was, if I got to be back here, it better be good. And because it really, the difference, the comparison was that this is like sludging through mud compared to the ease and the love that's there. And it was shortly after that experience that, and I was having these feelings of now what, that I was reading a newspaper fully open. I turned the page, and there was a full-page article on hospice, and the word yes just came up off the page, and I've been working in hospice ever since.
Thanks for watching today's video.
No, another lovely story. You know what I loved there? She said she wasn't in the light, she was of the light. I mean, I think that's quite beautiful. And interesting here, Angela says that the blue tunnel she went through was similar to, she said, what I jumped into to get into my mother's womb. Very interesting. I'll tell you why, because we haven't done a lot of this, Linda, but perhaps we should try and find some pre-birth memory stories that we can put up.
True.
But, another delightful NDE. Once again, showing that life continues.
I just want to go over to my book, Mike,
Okay.
5 Years in Heaven. Anyone interested? It's available on Lulu. Go to me and you'll find it, okay? I talk about the blue orbs that I saw when I was floating after I died. And they were blue with little white spots in the middle of them. A lot of people have what I would call interest in these blue orbs, the blue tunnels. Why are they all blue?
Yeah.
Because when we leave this three-dimensional world, we only use about 5% of the color spectrum. But it's so interesting that so many people have the similarity of seeing this vibrant, fluorescent, glitterized blue color when there's thousands of other shades of other colours and hues because we just don't see them in this three-dimensional world. So it is interesting. You know, when I saw that blue orb, the thing that she showed, that was just amazing because it's one of my similarities with my own NDE. I loved it how she said telepathic words. Hello, I was up there for 5 years. It was all telepathic. You must go. You have work to do. You know, so, you know, this is where someone's posted to me this week saying, are NDEs, which people have near-death experiences, is this part of our life contract? Is this part of our lessons? I firmly believe it is, you know, because we all get told you go back to do more work, and it's to spread that love and to teach people how to acquire, you know, as Catherine Bax said earlier, she doesn't know too many people that are unconditional love. Why do you think people like me are now needed so much? Because all these NDEs now are coming out of the closets everywhere because there's not that stigma attached to it anymore. We're getting out there now because the world needs the unconditional love now.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, guys, because I'll probably do a video on me at Dr. Linda Kramer. My name is in the bottom of the screen. Go and find me on YouTube and follow me. Subscribe to me because I do a lot of educational videos there about heaven, near-death experience, and how to be angelic. But most importantly, with this woman, you know, she was so casual. She's just a normal person having a magnificent event. You know, that's what I love about hearing all these people. You know, they've got no pretense. You know, you usually find people that have had an NDE, there's always someone in the family or a friend who's going to really scrutinise, abuse and mock what they've been through. So it does take a lot to come out and say, this is what happened to us. You know, so again, I really do value what she said, especially about those blue orbs, because it was so true to what I saw. You know? I just want to go there too, Mike. We had a comment from Donnie Schmidt. Thank you so much for watching, Donnie, if you're still viewing. Please know Mike and I, we are both mediums and psychics, but we do not do live readings through our show for privacy and confidentiality. Either contact Mike or myself and we can organise something for you privately if you do want a reading, okay? I do feel for your loss. You know, it must be a terrible time you're going through. Please know that we do feel for you, okay? And I hope that you do connect with us and contact us, okay? Even if it's just to give you some peace, okay, with what you're going through, okay? So thank you so much for watching, Donnie. Okay?
Naturally, we send healing. Anyone listening to this show, please send healing and loving and supporting words. And this is something we can all do. You know, it's so the healing aspect of life. More and more people beginning to do this, and more people beginning to realise that as the collective, the power of the collective. When we send healing to someone, they receive it. You know, and I'd like to also say that to people, you know, you'll only get what you can accept, and don't worry about if the person giving the healing is dodgy, because the person isn't given the healing. They're the channel, if you like. So no harm will absolutely come to you. So healing is the new medicine. Sound is the new medicine. Light is the new medicine. And love, above all else, is the new medicine. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So just repeat those for people again. We've got light is the new healing. We've got, you just said 4.
Sound. Light.
Is
sound. You know, the energetic healing. This is the new healing. And love, of course, above all else. Unconditional love, not kissy human love, but just the from the heartfelt, which is what we really are. Because we talk about, you know, Linda, you said, you know, supernatural. experiences like this, but actually we humans are having the supernatural experience, and the natural experience is the spirit self, you know.
Absolutely.
This is the supernatural experience that we've come here to actually learn.
Yeah.
So we get back into inversion again, that damn word.
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
because the big thing, you know, the big blockage, the big reason why people don't accept what we can energetically do is because we are so conditioned as a human race. We are conditioned by the society. Go to work, earn money, buy things, look after your garden, wash up your dinners, eat food, go to sleep, look after your car, look after your neighbours. It's all distractions. So then we don't connect with our true source of who we truly are, and we become this energetic connection to others. You know, why do you think they've just had us in 2 years of lockdown? To isolate us, to separate our energies, and look at the mental health stories now coming out. Look at how many DV suicide murders are happening every day on the news because people have lowered their vibrations because they're not able to raise their vibration through getting out, connecting with people, listening to their favourite songs. Look how much it's on the news. Don't listen to music. Don't dance. I said, stuff you to that when I heard that. I went in, cranked my radio with my favourite songs, did my air guitar, best impersonation, wearing my I wear my tiara, and I wear it with pride, thinking my vibration is so high, mental health, depression, DV, whatever other issue is all now coming out, it will not affect me because I've raised myself above it. Because it's all energy, guys. You know, it breaks my heart when I hear people are suiciding, etc. So if you do feel like you're depressed, can't cope, reach out to us because Mike and I will certainly help you. If you can't reach out to us, find a friend or a family member. Most importantly, go and talk to a professional. You know, I have a PhD. That's why I've got a doctorate, which makes it Linda Kramer doctorate, Dr. Linda Kramer. I am not a medical doctor, but please go and talk to anybody, even if it's your cat, and vent all your stuff to your cat. Because of the healing energy of listening to a cat purr. Why do you think Mike's got cats? Why do you think I have a cat? Because they're so, you know, the Egyptians had them for a reason because they're just so different to every other animal on the planet. Unless you talk to dolphins. Dolphins are in that. I put them in that same category as cats. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, let's go and have a look at the unexpected guest at this funeral. And I just want to say this is an angelic story, and next week we've got Tanya's angelic story, which took me a bit of time to edit. But and I want to say also that more and more people are coming through now who want to express their stories. So I think we're going to see a lot more original material coming through now as people get more into, and you know, this is all it takes. It just takes one or two people to start giving their experiences, and it encourages others to do the same. So we'll talk about that more, but we're going to see this angelic story of the unexpected guest. I love it. I think this is great, and Spirit use our younger cousins, if you like, to really get the message across. Let's say no more, but give it a roll and tell us your thoughts after.
It was a Sunday morning in 1947.
Come on if you're coming!
And Joan Goodwin and her younger sisters Ramona and Annette were headed out on an adventure.
Wait!
Joan was supposed to watch after us. And so we would all go out to this deep ditch out beside our house.
We had gotten ready for church that morning, and we had on our, quote, Sunday best. And, of course, the ditch beckoned. Joan found a frog. And I thought, okay, so it's a frog. What's the big deal? But Joan, it was just like a revelation to her. She held that frog in her hands, and the fascination was born. And over the years, we identified frogs with Joan.
And from that one frog, a collection was born.
Over the years, as different things happened in her life, or as we went different places, people would bring her frogs.
She had frogs on dish towels, bath towels,
frog curtains, frog tablecloths, frog placemats,
frogs on table napkins, frogs on paper towels,
pictures of frogs on the walls,
frogs on her jewelry. She had earrings and necklaces and bracelets with frogs.
Different kinds of ceramic frogs.
She had the iron frog.
She had frogs inside.
Big concrete frogs outside.
Bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, dining room, living room.
In June of 1991, she was diagnosed with lung cancer.
They took out half of her lung and told her that it was probably the worst kind of cancer. She said, I'm not going to let it defeat me. I'm going to fight this. And so she did.
And after months of chemotherapy, her cancer appeared to have gone into remission. Over the next year, Joan fought her disease with immense courage, but the day came when she could fight no longer.
We all lined up by the bed, and every one of us, we had our hands on her all the way from the shoulder down to her hands. And she passed away. The day of the funeral came, and it dawned a gray day. It was one of those days when your heart's heavy, and the sky was crying, and we were too. We just felt such a loss, and it just seemed like that it wasn't something that would ever go away.
I watched the men from the funeral home bring in the coffin, and even then I was praying, Lord, just give us peace and help us to get through this time.
Friends, we're gathered here today to pay our final tributes to Ms. Joan Smith Goodwin.
I was looking around, just trying to find something to be focused on.
1997.
She had so many beautiful flowers. I started looking at one and then the other, and there was a white ribbon sticking out away from the rest of the flowers. But it was moving, and it got my attention, and I kept watching and kept watching, and it kept bouncing up and down.
The shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff.
I heard just a little, it was almost like a giggle. And I thought, who in the world is laughing at this horrible time? And Donna turned around, and she was motioning.
She said, you're not going to believe this. Are there frogs out in December? He said, no. She said, yes, they are too.
And suddenly, all eyes were focused on this unexpected guest, a tiny Alabama tree frog.
I could hear the whispers rumbling all behind me. It's a frog, it's a frog.
And it sat there the whole funeral, through two preachers preaching, the prayer, and everything.
strength that we need to face the
And the sadness of the occasion was somehow lifted by knowing that that frog was there.
with my soul.
It was something there that I needed to get through that funeral, to get through the next few days. If I could have gotten closer to it, I would probably have found wings on that frog.
After the funeral, everybody was looking for the tree frog. Nowhere. It vanished. It, just like it appeared, it was gone. So we all like to think that that was, you know, Mama sitting there with us, and I fully believe that she was. After the funeral, when we did try to determine what to do with Mama's frogs, there was no question as to where that first frog was going to go. It had to go with Mama.
Terrific. It's a wonderful story. So, yes, the divine works in very mysterious ways to get things done. The key point is no frogs in December. So you can argue, can't you? Well,
right.
you know, there's frogs around, but no frogs in December. And where did the frog go to? Yeah, I mean,
And where did it come from?
Yeah, we can make all these assumptions. Well, look, they're very good at hiding, and but you know,
and you know, you've got to remember, funeral homes just don't do one funeral a day.
No.
You know, they get people in, they get them out, because they usually do about 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah.
And was that frog there for the other funerals as well that day? I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because it had to be there, because it was that connection to who she was, and letting everybody know that she was still around. You know, how gorgeous was that? You know, that was just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that one. And I actually put something up here. I found it. Look, this is a diversion. A road in London closes for nearly a month to protect migrating toads as they hop to the other side. This is from the Good News Network. So again, if anyone feels a little bit down and just wants to have good news, just Googling Good News Network, and you'll find only good uplifting stories. So, I mean, I've seen, talking, you know, of animals, many things, like in Holland, for example, they actually built an overpass for migrating animals, so they didn't have to risk crossing the motorway, the busy motorway. Some amazing things.
Yeah.
So.
We have the Christmas Island, the crabs. When they breed, there's millions of crabs on this little island that's called Christmas Island.
Right.
So Google that one, guys, Christmas Island crabs. They take over. They're all red, and it's like the people have to just allow all these crabs to do what they want while they migrate across and go back into the water.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
All righty, Dale. Well, we've still got a few to watch.
I think there's just one left,
where are we
actually.
going?
Just one left.
Oh, yeah, we are too. Sorry, I didn't cross one off the list.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all good. Yeah, it's only Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, just back onto that one, guys. You know, I've died. I went to heaven. I can tell you firsthand, it's only a transition. You know, we only get sad when people leave us because they're not physically with us anymore.
Yeah.
But as soon as we realize that it's only geography at the end of the day, and, you know, if it's like a friend leaving and moving to another country where all you've got to do is think about them and they're still with you in your heart and your soul.
Right, yeah.
You know, we don't have to fear it.
No.
We don't have to pretend like it doesn't matter. We don't have to have any sort of hope that it doesn't happen soon for us.
Sure.
Because we all have life paths, we all have life contracts. You know, we don't have to judge why or how somebody passes, but ultimately we all signed up for the own individual life that we have, and it is absolutely gorgeous where we go.
You You should consider recording your experience of heaven in a book, Linda.
What, like this one?
Ta-da!
You're funny, Mike. Oh, what luck. I just happened to be holding it. Okay? Look how thick it is, you know?
Yeah.
Or find me on YouTube at Dr. Linda Kramer. My name's on the screen, DrLyndacramr. Look me up on YouTube because, the one I did yesterday, 170 views. The one that I did yesterday, what do we do all day in heaven? How do we spend our time in heaven? I think I called that one. So it's a bit of an eye opener for people because we have to get past this three-dimensional world of what we do all day. I would never have had that experience, and it was only when I started seeing the similarities and the commonalities and of what other people had said in their own experiences, people I'd never met, never spoken to. And I thought, wow, this place is real. Because how else can we explain it? It's like any other phenomena in the paranormal field. We can't explain it. So, of course, I study science every day because I've had this theory, which was my empirical evidence. I want to sort of prove it.
Yeah.
The person who proves heaven exists stuffed the Nobel Prize,
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I can't tell you what it will mean to religion, and that's one reason why the person who discovers the science behind it, they won't ever be allowed to advertise what they've got because it will break down the structure of religion all around the world, because, it's...
Well, I'll tell the people, I was just talking to Linda off air, and I've joined a religious group which is recognised by the Austrian government as an official religion, which only allows me to have natural anything on my body and in my body, and it therefore prohibits me from all kinds of things. And this is recognised by the Austrian government. I've just got to be with them for about 6 months before I can claim any exemptions, etc., etc.
Well, share the link with me, Dale, because, if they've already got it under the government of Austria, I'm sure that they'll share it to other countries, We're coming up to an election here. A lot of people aren't happy with our Prime Minister. Time to go, ScoMo, Scott Morrison is our Prime Minister, so everyone calls him ScoMo. Or Scummo is the other one that people call him, Scummo. Scummo. Anyway, I don't judge, They've all got their job to do. They've all been paid by someone above them, haven't they? Unfortunately, true. But we've still got Kelly to look at, darling, because time is getting away from us.
Let's run old Kelly, and we'll have a quick discussion of it, and then we'll wrap it all up.
So,
okay.
I don't know. I don't think they're telling me that because they like my singing ability, but so
I can always ask my cousin.
I mean, maybe the song is relevant, or is there someone with a name like Sharon, like Sharona? Now, I'm also picking up on something.
Oh, you said Sharon.
Yeah.
Get out. Now I know who you're talking about.
My Sharona?
Yes, she loved to sing, and she we didn't see it coming. I saw her right before she left with her boyfriend, and they got in a bad car accident, and she was killed. It was really bad. And her name was Sharon. Her name is Sharon. Oh my God, I wouldn't have thought that she...
So not only is her name Sharon, she got me to say it to you by singing.
Yeah, and Sharona, I could see that, because she loved music. Every song that came on the jukebox, she was like, oh, I love that song, I love that song.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay.
I saw
like a bikini. And this I actually also, it made me think of like maybe being really physically fit, maybe even bodybuilding. And then I thought I saw flowers, so it made me think of like a lei. So I don't know if this is like talking about Hawaii, but for whatever reason, I felt like I was seeing a bikini and possibly a lei.
That makes sense. I was a personal trainer for like 10 years and I've always been into like fitness, and I'm just a tropical girl. So that could be, my heart is like, I mean, my goal is to live maybe, you know, somewhere tropical. So
oh, perfect.
That aligns really well.
I'm kind of laughing, Linda, because in the first clip we saw, the guy at the back there, he's just sitting there nonchalantly sort of letting it all go, you know, and almost like looking, and then I'll carry on watching the telly. And then he kind of, it's just funny to see his reaction there in the background, a bit looking at them like they're a bit bizarre. But yeah. I think she really presents herself well, actually, this lady.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
You know, and you know, people go in to see mediums, I feel they always have some expectation of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They expect that it'll be their grandmother. It'll expect that somebody will come through for somebody else. They expect how the messages come through. So when you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, my God, my mum's going to come through today, and then you find out it was someone called Sharon, it's a shock, especially when it's a song, My Sharona.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. I've got a sister called Sharon, and My Sharona, you know, it always makes me think of her too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can't go into like mediumship shows with any sort of judgment or expectation of what's going to occur on the day.
Right.
You know, and that's one reason why I always say we don't do live readings on our show, because you don't know what information's going to come out.
No.
You know, before we had Danny trying to connect with his 11-year-old son, how do we know it's Danny's son that's going to come through?
Yeah.
It could be his really criminal-minded ex-brother-in-law who really did do some embarrassing things in the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can't have those expectations when we want a reading from someone, guys. You know, and we don't know what they're going to give us as that confirmation either. You know, like who would expect to go to a funeral and see frogs?
Yeah.
Seriously. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, we've got to get past that expectation of what's going to occur when we do readings, etc. Okay?
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, but she's lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we haven't finished on time, but we're not that over this time, you know.
What's new, Mike?
Yeah. What's time?
New?
What's time anyway, you know?
I don't do time. That's why I don't wear a watch.
No watch, no jewellery. Can't be bothered with it.
I don't wear jewellery.
No bling, as we say over here. I don't have any bling.
No bling. No, I don't wear bling either, darling.
Yeah.
Oh, except for my ruby. There you go. There's my ruby ring.
Yeah.
I wear that. But guys, in closing, what would I like to tell you? What would you like to tell them for this weekend? Keep your head up is the word that I just got from my girl. Keep your head up this week, guys. Be aware of what is going on. Don't bow to pressure. There you go. Thank you for that one. Don't bow to the pressure, okay? If we stand high with our pride and we say, I, under free will do what I believe in, thank you, always give grace, always give thanks, always appreciate.
Yeah.
Things are turning around in our favour, guys, okay? Because I think those are the three big words that we all need right now. Appreciate, treasure, adore, and really value people, okay? Don't try to judge them. You know, if you see someone and you think, what the hell is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Take those thoughts out of your head and say, why are you judging him? Why aren't you just allowing him to do what he wants? Okay? That's a good start in learning what is unconditional love. Unquestioning. Don't question. Don't just allow people to do what they want, guys, because this week we're still going the thick of it, and it's going to last for a bit longer yet. But the tides have turned, and the goodness of the universe is coming into play. Thank goodness. Yay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now is the time, as I was told yesterday, for the lions and the wolves to gather. And, you know, sadly, there are some people that, in all walks of life, not just this situation, that can't be helped. And it's better to help those people that wish to be helped. It doesn't matter if it's in a healing capacity or any other capacity. We really have to focus on helping others who wish to be helped. Otherwise it's like the shepherd who runs after the lost sheep and loses all the other sheep in the process to save the one. So, you know, it's a hard decision, especially when it comes to family, because it's sometimes impossible. You can't just walk away sometimes. You know, if you're married to someone or in a relationship with someone, it's easier to walk away from you know, that extended part of the family. But what we can do is say, look, we're different people. We don't see eye to eye. Let's just go about our business. You go your way, I'll go my way. I'll work with the people that I can help. You work with the people that you can help or don't want to help, or just go with the people you want to be with. And as you say, there's no judgment. And if it helps anyone, every night before I go to bed, I always look at the day for what I can be grateful for. No matter how small it is. It could even be someone that just made me smile. And science has shown, and I give this in my talks with the power of words, that people who consistently show gratitude before they go to bed sleep better and have better thoughts in their sleep. And then every morning I wake up, I plan before I get out of bed how my day is going to be. And
sorry. No. I was just going to add there. You know, I'm a mum. My daughter's now 15. And when I moved in here probably 7 odd years ago, my daughter was only 8. And that's when I started teaching her the daily affirmations before bed. I said, honey, name 5 things that happened today that you're grateful for. And one night she came home from school and she said, Mum, I've got nothing to be grateful for. And I said, why? And she said, because today I got bullied by a boy at school. And I said, so there is your thing to be grateful for. It's always good to be grateful for when good things happen. But always remember to be grateful when those bad things happen as well, because they are opportunities. And my daughter said, how can I be grateful that this boy made me feel bad? And I said, because now you're learning what it's like to feel if you bully someone else. So there's something that you can be grateful for. I said, now you know that you don't want to be his friend because you don't want to have a friend who's a bully. So there's something else for you to be grateful for. And most of all, you've now learnt that you don't want to be that person. So now you can say, I don't want to do those behaviours. Who do I want to be? So as words to an 8-year-old, how empowering is that? How much strength, courage, and absolute faith in themselves does a child learn when they say, this is who I want to be? So I remember that night that I sat with my daughter. I've mentioned it to her a few times over the years when we do our affirmations before bed, and I will go there. When I do my affirmations before bed, everything I'm grateful for, I sleep so much better. Okay?
For sure.
It does work.
For sure,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's say bye-bye to everyone, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.